Mike?
Just what are your thoughts on the way the team finished out the game and then the opportunity ahead to win next week and qualify for the playoffs?
Yeah, we're still alive. So, it was a tough game. Really fought hard. Hats off to them. They had a pretty good game plan coming in. Did some things to challenge us. Defense, obviously, Kyle. Huge play by Kyle. And then we were able to put that drive together at the end to go ahead. So, overall good team win.
Dave, did you see that drive as kind of being a definitive one for this offense? A chance to close out the game, and Max able to bring the team down the field?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, it was a drive to keep the season going for us. So, big drive. A lot of people made some big plays. Great recognition on, Mac on that touchdown. He's back there clapping, and the next thing I know, that was not what I thought was about to happen. So, great job by him and Jacoby being on the same page and recognizing, what they saw. So, just overall great job by him and, everybody to execute and get the ball down there and score.
Dan Roach in the back.
David, when you see the Kyle Duggar pick six, what's the feeling like for you guys on the bench and kind of woke up the entire stadium? What was that, and how big was that once again for you guys with the D?
Yeah, huge. I feel like Kyle has a touchdown every week, it seems like, going. So, it was a huge play. Defense stepped up huge right there and, really gave the whole stadium, like you said, the whole team some juice. And, we knew we had a chance to go out there and close it out and put a good drive together. So great job by the defense, and then obviously covering that onside kick. So.
Nick O'Malley.
Hey, David. First off, how about them dogs?
Yeah. How about them, right? So back to back.
At this point in the season, we see an injury report on both sides. A lot of key players missing, and also saw some guys leave in the middle of the game. What's it like at this point in the season with old adage in football that at this point everyone's sort of dealing with something? What's it say to this team to be able to grit off this sort of win with so many injuries and guys just sort of getting that wear and tear of the season?
Yeah, look, everyone goes through it. Obviously some great opportunities for people. If your number gets called, and I thought, obviously some guys did some really good things today, stepped up for us. Good to get Damian back. So, everyone's dealing with something. It's a tough league. It's a long year. It's just part of it. You learn to play with it.
David, talk about Mac Jones's composure there, starting at the 11 to make that game-winning drive there.
Yeah. Did a great job, putting us in the right position. Obviously it was a big drive. He made some really key throws. And, like I said, that touchdown, that was great recognition by him and Jacoby being on the same page and kind of, seeing what they had. I haven't seen it completely, but that's not what I thought was going to happen. So, just a great drive by him. Thought he did a really good job all day, stay composed, and made the plays when we had to.
Last question, Dan Roach.
David, Mike kind of touched upon it at the beginning, but just a thought on what you guys have been through to get to 8-8 and have that chance next week at Buffalo to get into the postseason. What does that mean to you guys?
Yeah, look, if you've ever had the chance to play this game, it's the game of life, right? You're going to get knocked down, you're going to get picked back up, you're going to have some ups, some downs, and you just have to keep fighting. You got to keep pushing, it's the greatest game on the earth, and it teaches you a lot about yourself and your teammates, and I think we showed a lot of fight, and obviously got a big challenge this weekend, and playing 1 week seasons right now. That's what it is. So, huge challenge coming up for us this week, but proud of the locker room, proud of everyone rebounding this week and coming to work.
Sorry, one more question. Phil Perry, last one.
Sorry, just to get to that message that you just spoke about, how much have you and maybe other team leaders done over the last couple of weeks here, especially after some difficult losses, to make sure that everybody is still focused and where they need to be?
Look, you gotta be the same person every day. There's no magic, thing you can come in, no magic thing you can say to people. I love getting to come in here for work, right? And I love getting to do this, and I'm thankful that I'm getting to do this. I know I probably don't deserve to be in this league, and I'm super thankful, and I think we got a lot of good leaders in this team. It's not me, Devin Slade, Ben, DYs. No one did anything special. Just try to be the same. Try to rally the troops, and not like I said, but it's not anything special we did. A lot of guys in that locker room can't keep coming up, keep coming to work, keep showing up. So, it was a great team win overall. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Plan on having Kyle Duggar in here as well as some of the regulars, Mac Jones, Matthew Raise your hand if you have questions for Devin. Okay, go ahead, Dan Rhodes.
Devin, congrats on the win. Just a thought on getting to 8-8, but also how much of a spark was that Kyle pick six, him doing it once again? How much was that for the defense, the entire team, to get you guys going?
Yeah, man, we talked last night about, scoring on defense. It's something we've done now 4 weeks in a row, and it's something that's given us a great boost as a team. So, as soon as Doug caught it, I think if you watch the film, you probably see everybody trying to get a block. And you can see Doug knowing, like, I'm not going out of bounds. Like, I'm finding a way to the end zone. And, I think anytime, like, a guy like Doug, one of our best players out there, overall on the team, gets the ball in his hands, third touchdown of the year. So, we needed him today. He stepped up big. And, I would say over this latter part of the season, he's played great football, and really proud just to be able to be in there with him, and his production and the studying and his process throughout the season. It's no wonder it's paying off. Like, the guy's been tremendous.
Nick O'Malley on your left.
Devin, keeping the playoffs alive, but given your positioning, it looks like a road on the playoffs. Considering where you are in your career and where the outlook is the rest of the way, did you have any thoughts coming off the field today that today could maybe the last time you played a game at Gillette Stadium?
Yeah, I took a moment. I'll go spend some time with my family on the field. It's been a great run, and to come out here, if this was the last one, I think to be able to leave Gillette with a win, very similar to how my first ever game was a win. So, I've had a lot of fun. These guys have been awesome to go out here and compete with. You never know how football goes, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it before the game. And, just now, give a high five to the Minutemen, something I've done over and over and over again after wins, to just kind of think about that and let that settle in. Just trying to make sure I just stay in the moment and enjoy it. But definitely gave it a few seconds today.
Hey, Deb, talk about the importance of 7 defensive touchdowns this season from the defense. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, man, it's been a huge lift. I think we got a lot of guys, when we get the ball in our hands, are trying to score. But again, like I said, I think it's the group as a whole. Like, you see, everyone is trying to get a block. Everyone's trying to lead the guy into the end zone. Like, we've talked about that, turning those turnovers into points. And it's been big for us. And, I think even special teams, like Marcus scoring, we blocked a punt and got the ball on like the 1 or 2 yard line, like just finding ways to win. I've talked about that earlier in the season. Like, we don't know what it's going to be, but finding a way to win the game, whether it's a defensive touchdown, special teams, whether it's the offense going on a, 8-minute drive to score, like whatever it is that time of year, we got to figure it out and do those things.
Hey, Devin, among those thoughts that you had today about this being the home finale, how important was it, you mentioned your family, to see Jason down on the field? I mean, your twin, who you've had careers together with, and now he's been out for a year. And just to have him here in attendance today, what did that mean to you? And, how much do you value that opportunity to play before him today?
Yeah, man, that's my guy. Just so many ups and downs throughout my career, individually, different things. Just being able to rely on him and count on him, it was cool. This is the second time he's been able to come to a game as a fan. He's a working guy now, so he worked the Buffalo game. But, I think for both of us, our relationship, the bond of just pushing each other. And, I know he's on edge watching, just like I used to be on edge watching him play. But it's been a great joy to grow up with somebody and have a dream, and to accomplish that dream and get to do it together for 3 years. But to just watch each other do something that a lot of people told us would probably be impossible for one of us to do, let alone 2 of us to do it. So it's like running a race next to your best friend, and at the end you just tie each time. And, we've had a lot of fun watching each other and supporting each other throughout our careers.
Mike Giardi in the front.
Dev, you guys have obviously experienced some horrible lows this year, some losses that have put teams down and they don't get up from. And at times maybe this team was teetering, like it didn't look, at least from the outside looking in, didn't like maybe you would get up. The fact that you did get up, the fact that you have a game next weekend that means something for postseason, what does that say about this group?
Character. I don't know what game I said it after or before, but I don't think we have the men in that locker room to have a character to quit. I think each guy in that locker room all has a story of how they got here. We got a guy like John Jones, undrafted. We got a guy like Kyle Duggar, D2 guy, Judon, D2 guy. They're two best players on defense. And I think that character, that just determination to, be on top as individuals, I think motivates this team to stick together and play together. And I think we don't want to go out there and not give it our all, I think, because of the guys next to us. We're fully aware of this team won't be the same next year. And, we got one more opportunity that we're guaranteed. And we're going to go out there and play together and, give it our best shot, for 60 minutes. And I think that's something we can live with. Anything else, I think will crush us as individuals. And I think that's why you see this team going to come out here next week, practice our butts off, and go out there in Buffalo and try to get into the playoffs.
Matthew just said you're going to the Hornets' nest now. It used to be vice versa, right? All the AFC's team. What does it feel like to sort of have the shoe on the other foot, but again, have an opportunity?
Compete, man. It's fun going in there because everybody hates you in there, and if you don't come with your best shot from the beginning of the game, like that thing could get ugly, and they're gonna go. So if you want to, I said a few weeks ago, if you want to be a team that's playing in the postseason, like these are the kind of games you got to enjoy going to and go out and get a win. So we'll have a lot going. They're a tough football team, and we'll watch them Monday night against Cincy and go out there and give it our best shot.
Last question, Steve Butler.
I was watching that pass of Bridgewater. Did you have just turned the wrong shoulder or something, or what was on that?
Oh, no, that was just excuse my language, just a shitty play by me. Just got to catch the ball. And luckily, we won today because if not, that would have been all I thought about, possibly as my last game here at Gillette.
I was trying to make it easy for you. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Mike Girardi would have asked me a question.
Coach Belichick is next.
We'll start with, really proud of the team, staff, the team. Obviously we had a couple of tough weeks, but I thought those guys really competed well all week in terms of preparation and studying. Obviously had some moving parts that we were dealing with. New guys coming on the team. Not sure about the availability of some other players. Some played, some didn't. But just, the overall resiliency and determination that the team, as a group and the staff showed, I thought was really, really good this week. And so battled all the way through it. It's big plays in the game, like there always are. But it's good to come out on the positive side of them today. And, we'll see what happens next week. But, Miami is what we thought they were, explosive team. They certainly caused some problems, and, we were just able to make enough plays to win. And so it's good. It's a good feeling. It's been a while since we beat them, so it's definitely good to finally get on the right side of that ledger.
Hi, Bill. How big of a spark was Kyle and what he was able to do there for the entire team? Seemed to wake the stadium up a little bit too. And it's the second and third 3 weeks. How difficult is that to do from your perspective? And explain to us what Kyle has the ability to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a great play. A little bit like Marcus's play. It was a great run. The interception was a good play, a good catch, and all that. But he made a lot of yards on his own. Like I said, like Marcus did last week. Breaking tackles there at midfield or 40-yard line, whatever it was, and cutting back. But yeah, so we all know Kyle's a very, very explosive, athletic player. Just done a great job for us, jamming receivers, playing the run, tackling, making big plays, and when he gets his hands on the ball, he's a hard guy to get, and there's not many guys out there that are going to catch him from behind on offense. Whether it was the Detroit scoop and score play or his interceptions here he's had the last couple weeks or last few weeks, it's really he helped us. And then his big play with Hopkins, knocking the ball off of him, for the fumble in Arizona that McMillan got. So, he's been involved in a lot of those big plays, and it's obviously really helped us.
Bill, you touched on it a little bit, but just the resiliency of this group after a couple of tough weeks. The guys were just saying how nice it was to come out on today with their backs really against the wall.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. It's good feeling. Guys worked hard, and we have something to show for here today. So it's a good thing.
Bill, was a New Year's resolution this year to get a win?
Yeah, sure.
On the last offensive play before the kneel downs, the throw to Jacoby, David had said that the play that was executed was different from what was called. What did you see from what happened from the play call to what was ultimately executed on the field? Like, what did Mac change on that play with the throw to Jacoby?
All right, so the last offensive play before the kneel down was the sack.
Yeah, I meant the touchdown to Jacoby.
Oh, the touchdown to Jacoby. Yeah, they were in a goal line defense. We shifted out. We had a couple options on the play. Jacoby was obviously one of the options, and Mac took that when there were some other options on the play. I would say in practice it probably hasn't gone to him too many times, but Mac saw the matchup, and similar to the 2-point play that we hit. Was it last week? Whenever it was, a couple weeks ago, against Oakland, right? Yeah, different but kind of similar to that. So it's a one-on-one play. If he likes the matchup, then he can go out there, and then that just trumps the other part of the play.
Off of that, what did you think of the job Mac did today, not just on that last scoring drive, but throughout the game?
Well, we were, a little inconsistent offensively, so there were some good things. Miami played quite a bit of man coverage on the first drive, and then Josh switched to the zone coverage with a couple blitzes. He sprinkled in a couple blitzes, and and we didn't do so well against that. And then we had a long drive. I know it was 90 yards, whatever it was. Convert a couple third downs, big play to Jacoby, and Hunter had a good day for us on third down as well overall against man coverage. So they mixed it up pretty good, like they usually do. So man to zone to some heavy blitz looks, back to zone, then a little bit of man third down. So we got them some, they got us some. That's kind of the way it goes there. They did a good job mixing it up, and but we were able to convert enough to combine with Kyle's score, convert enough to win.
Just on the bigger picture with Jacoby, it feels like through the years he's evolved so much to fit what you guys need on offense, whether it's slot, and now he's really taken a step forward in the red zone too. What does that say about him? What has it said about him over the last few years to get this far?
Yeah, well, Jacoby's, had a career like some other players at that position have had here. Rookie free agent, wasn't drafted, low expectations, came in, made the team. Not really sure how good it was going to be. Kept improving, kept working. Quarterback going to receiver. Learned a lot. Played with some other good players and coaches, and he's worked hard and gotten better every year and expanded what he can do. So whether it's blocking the running game, run option type routes, go down the field, make plays in single coverage outside. He's got a good feel. He's got good concentration. He's smart. He's tough. He's come through for us in a lot of big situations. But his progression's been pretty steady incline since he got here as a coming out of college at NC State after he converted from quarterback to receiver. He just works hard and keeps grinding and keeps getting better.
Mike Reese in the front.
On the sack that Mac took in the fourth quarter from the 29-yard line, how much consideration was there to kicking in that situation? What was the thought process to not kick? I think it would have been.
Thought process to try to pick up the first down.
And was
it's
that
a long kick?
How about the play? Like, what was that the play that you wanted there?
Was it the play we wanted? Yeah, we called the play.
Zach Cox on your far right.
Bill, you touched on it a little bit off the top, but how would you assess the way your cornerbacks and the secondary as a whole performed today with some of those key pieces out?
Yeah, played really well as a group. I think that our more experienced players back there, obviously John, Miles, really did a good job of not only stepping up but also helping Tay and Q, with some of the communication back there. I mean, our safeties. We played a lot of safeties today. Played a lot of 3 safety calls and some 4 safety calls where they're all on the field together. Tried to jam the receivers. I thought overall we did a decent job of that and didn't give up a lot of explosive plays, which, I mean, they've had a lot of them, probably as many as anybody in the league, 40-yard passes, and they've had a bunch that have gone for, 60 and 70. So, did a good job of jamming the receivers, keeping the ball in front of us, converted on some third downs. But I thought the leadership from the safety group plus John and Miles, was just really good, getting things organized. Again, this is a team that used a lot of motion, misdirection, formation change up, different personnel groups between the tight ends, some 2-back sets, some fullback and halfback, 2 halfbacks, 3 receivers, 2 receivers, 2 receivers in Jasecki, 2 receivers and not Jasecki. I mean, there's a lot of movement on that. So those guys really did a good job. We didn't really have a lot of coverage mistakes. I mean, they hit a few passes on us, of course, which they do against everybody, a couple of pop passes and play actions. But overall, a lot of balls went to the backs and on checkdowns and things like that. And those guys, were hard to tackle, but at least we were able to keep the game, under control that way. I think it's better than 60-yard touchdowns. So, thought our secondary did a good job. Mike, Brian, Steve, Gerard, all those guys. And I thought our front played well, too. We handled a pretty, good running game. We were competitive there, and we got some pressure on the quarterback. So, it was, a good team defensive effort.
Greg Bedard on the left.
Bill, on the Duggar interception, that's a coverage you guys have run this year, but new guys on the field, there's a lot of moving parts on that play. Is that an example of, guys taking coaching over the course of the season, the coaches doing a good job to come up with a play like that at the end of the season?
Yeah, well, again, I think the big thing in zone coverage is, having good awareness of the pattern and anytime you get pressure on the quarterback and the quarterback doesn't have time to look off and move the defense, and you get a good break on the ball, and you get a player like Kyle who's fast and long. There's some players that probably wouldn't have been able to quite get to that ball, but he did, and like I said, it was a big difference when he got his hands on it and being able to run with it. But yeah, I mean, zone coverage is all about discipline and finding receivers, reading quarterback, and getting a good break on the ball, and Kyle did all those. So we've used a decent amount of zone and man. We've been pretty even, I'd say, roughly on the mixes. A little more man on third down, a little more zone on early downs, but enough of each to try to keep the offense off balance.
Hey Bill, there are a couple of plays that Tyquan Thornton made today. So what's your thought on his performance?
Yeah, well, he's certainly, has helped us. It's good to have him. He came back earlier in the year, but he missed so much time early. It took him a little while to really, catch up on some things. But, he's an explosive player that can, attack the vertical part of the defense and, is fast with run after catch opportunities, things like that. But, like any rookie, there's always room for improvement. There's things that he needs to work on and can do better, but he certainly helps us. He's a big target, and obviously the quarterbacks, Mac likes to throw to him. And big, fast guys, quarterback friendly. But yeah, he's made some big plays for us, and he opens up some other things because of his ability to stretch the field vertically. So hopefully we can hit on some more going forward.
Bill, you kind of touched on this when you were talking about the leadership of Miles and John and the safeties as well this week. Devin just spoke a few minutes ago, and he did say that he's thought about the possibility that this could have been his last home game. And I'm curious, as many times you've talked about him and as many times as you will talk about him in the future, like today in particular, given the circumstances with the secondary this week, how valuable his leadership has been to get you to this point where you're playing for a playoff spot next week?
Yeah, I think you captured it pretty well, Bob. That's really what it is. I mean, Devin, has done about everything a player could do for this program. And I'd say the same thing about Matt Slater in a kicking game. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been or ever going to be a better player than Matt Slater as an overall special teams player, and the leadership that he's brought to the team, along with Devin. Devin came in as a corner, went to the Pro Bowl, moved to safety. Led the defense from the safety position from his second year on. His off-the-field leadership, on-the-field leadership is superior, as good as anybody I've ever coached at that position. He does everything right. He's done everything right since he's been here. He knows the line calls. He knows the defense inside and out. So, and he has total respect from everybody because of his preparation and his unselfish play. And same thing for Slater. I mean, I don't know if he was here either. Same question, but probably. But what those two guys have done, what they mean to this organization, what they mean to me personally, what they've done here is it's pretty impressive, pretty elite. So sure Devin would like to have one more interception on the ledger today, but he gave us again a lot of. You just don't see a lot of the great plays that he makes, or the communication, or the adjustments that he makes. And when we have to change coverages, make coverage adjustments, it always runs through him. The front runs through, a lot of times Bentley and sometimes the down safeties, but all the coverage adjustments run through him. And so, it's like truly having a coach on the field and having somebody that can see a problem, fix it, or at least, take us out of a problem because of whatever they've sub-laid, the formation, whatever it happens to be, that he's got great judgment and great decision making. His decisions are quick, they're decisive, and they're almost always right. But any decision is a bad decision if you're hesitant and everybody doesn't get it. So making sure that we're all on the same page, that's always number one. So yeah, he's a special one. He's a special one.
Thank you,
So,
Coach.
all right, great,
Ralph
thank
Duggar
you.
is next.
Okay, thanks.
Raise your hand for questions for Kyle. We'll start with Dan Roach in the back.
Hey, Kyle, just kind of take us through the play and how big of a spark, how good did that feel, and what was that run like for you to get it into the end zone?
Just cover two dropping as the middle player. Got to my drop, saw my threat was eliminated, so I was able to get my eyes back to the quarterback and get around to the backside vertical. So, and then once I got the hands on the ball, and I know I needed to score. It would help the team greatly. So that was the goal.
God, I think you just heard Bill talk about Devin. There's been a lot of guys that have kind of passed down tradition and leadership from one to the next. Is he somebody you've looked up to and somebody you kind of feel like you want to take the baton from as far as being a leader in that secondary?
100%. He's been huge, just, somebody for me to look up to, talk to, learn from. It's been a huge blessing for me to have him in that room with me, and I'm super thankful for it. But to answer your question, yeah, I definitely look to take that, learn from what he's done, see how he's led for so long, and continue to try to do it as well. So, I'm definitely lucky to have him in there.
Kyle, what did you see on the interception return? It seemed like there was a low probability of you making it to the end zone, but obviously you were able to do it. What did you see?
High entry, as the coach would call it, high entry from a couple of O-linemen, and really just, saw a little gap at the very end. I think it was the quarterback, trying to, in the way kind of, so I saw a high entry from the O-lineman and a small gap, and I know I had to get into it to get in the end zone.
Kyle, obviously it's been a tough couple of weeks for you guys, but what does it say about the resiliency of this group to do what you guys did today with your backs really against the wall?
To me, it's not a surprise. It's kind of just really something that I've always known that the team and the defense has had. I've seen it every day, and I know they're going to fight. I know they're going to continue to fight, and whatever the situation is, whatever the adversity is, I know, they're going to keep it pushing once it hits. So, it's no surprise to me, but it says a lot, I guess, about the resiliency. Yeah.
Kyle, on that play, when you got the call and also saw the formation that the Dolphins were in, I mean, how much of an idea did you have that you were going to have the ability to make a play? And plus, you were coming from like the line of scrimmage, dropping 15 yards down the field.
I don't really remember. I know the stick situation had a lot to do. We knew that it's probably going to be some vertical route concepts downfield, so that had a lot to do with it. As far as making the play myself, you never really know when it's going to be your time to do that. But I was in the right place at the right time. So.
Kyle, 3 touchdowns this year. To your right, 3 touchdowns. You have enough room in your house for all these touchdown balls you're scoring?
Yeah, they don't come back to my house. I don't keep that kind of stuff. I'm making sure I'm trying to focus on getting the next one, the next thing I could do to help the team out, honestly. So,
I think it's like 7 defensive touchdowns, 4 in a row. Do you guys go into a game expecting to score a touchdown now?
No, we don't go expecting, but we know we need to score. We know it's a point of emphasis for us to help the team. So, we don't go in thinking we need to, I think you said thinking I need to score. Yeah, we don't think we're going to score, but we know it'll greatly help the team. So.
I was just maybe ask you to look at it from your offensive teammates' perspective, to see them come through with that go-ahead drive. I know you're busy and you're doing other stuff and you got to go back on the field, but what do you feel for those guys to come through the way they did with that fourth quarter drive to take the lead?
It was huge for us, and we appreciated it. Obviously, it just helped the team out, and we didn't really expect nothing less. So, it just means a lot, and it was great that they could help the team that way.
Kyle, with all that you guys have been through as a team, how much are you looking forward to the opportunity that you now have in front of you to go to Buffalo, get a win, and you're in the postseason?
We're very excited for it, the challenge ahead. We got to put a lot into the week, and we're super excited for the opportunity, and we're going to make sure we do everything we can to make it a good game.
Right here. Kyle, when you get the ball in your hands on the interceptions, that kind of bring you back to your punt return days and maybe lobbying for some punt returns till Marcus gets back?
Nah, I'm not trying to, take spot. I'm just trying to do whatever they ask me to do. But definitely, even before I was a punt returner in college, it definitely brought me back to kind of like some running back days, I guess, when I was little, things like that. So,
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, right here. I remember last year coming in training camp, you talked about feeling like you're a different player than you were as a rookie. You're really hard on your rookie performance. Think about where you are now. How far do you feel like you've come, and how far do you still feel like you can go, even with all these game-changing plays you're making? Where's the future in your eyes for where you can go as a player?
I still have a ton of things to work on and get better at. As far as how far I've come, I'm a lot better now than I was then. I say that. I've learned a lot, but I definitely know I have so much to learn still. Like a ton, I mess up things still that I know I shouldn't be messing up, and things like being consistent, it's still huge for me. So I got a lot to work on still.
Last question, Alan Siegel.
Kyle, 7 touchdowns by the defense doesn't happen very often in the NFL, and it's obviously not by accident. What does that say about an awareness of a defense, an instinct of a defense, to be able to do that on a consistent basis during a season?
It kind of shows that the mentality is get the ball and go score. Get the ball and go score. Drive the drive, down and down. That's just the mentality of us. So I think that's really the thing it highlights the most.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
Sure.
Matthew Judon is next. Raise your hand if you have questions.
See, no questions.
We'll go with Dan Roach in the back.
How you getting here, bro? Hey, no questions, no questions.
Matthew, everyone's kind of been focused on it. From your perspective, how good is Kyle Duggar at these types of things? His second in 3 weeks, third of the season, and how big of a boost was that at that time for you guys?
I think you're going to have to write Kyle a blank check. That's how good he is right there. Just for him to get that interception and then turn it into an offense, that's a one-man band. And it just seemed like every week we come up with one. And we got to keep doing it. We got to keep focused on it. And that's a goal. But for Kyle to do that, it's a really unbelievable play.
Matthew, what does this say about the character of this group to do what you guys did today, backs against the wall, needing to win to keep going?
I say it every week that we put more pressure on us than anybody else, and we need this. We came out and we executed, I believe, on all three phases. It was some stuff that went on, but that's how you play. That's how you play. That's a good team, and you got to fight to the end, and that's what we did. It came down to a onside kick, and we just executed a couple more plays than they did, and that's how you get a win against good teams.
Nick O'Malley on the left.
Matthew, did you get a look at Christian's little post-play celebration with taking a little play out of the Dolphins book?
They kind of did it to us, imitation, just flattery, but I guess so. Chris Baltimore went out there and kind of gave one back to him.
Speaking of the imitation, talking about we saw Christian Barmore do a little bit of the wipe with the arm. Did he steal your celebration?
Nah, man, that's for anybody.
Steve Sanchez.
Can you speak on the level of 7 touchdowns defensively this season for that group, for your group? That's a franchise record.
Like I said, we work on it, scooping scores, interceptions to offense, and honestly, it's more incredible plays by people with the ball in their hands, by some DBs, Marcus, Doug, Quan. It's more just better plays by really good players.
Chris Ryan on the left.
Matthew, given your history with the Bills over the last couple of seasons, how do you feel about the fact that they are the team standing in between you guys and the playoffs? What do you?
What's my history with them?
What is your history with them?
You asked the question.
Oh, I said the Patriots. I'm sorry, the Patriots history.
Oh,
the
all
team's
right. I mean, we won there before, so we can do it. It's a good team. We know them inside and out, and they know us inside and out. We just got to come and be focused and execute.
Matt, Bill Belichick just spoke at length about Devin McCourty and Matthew Slater, the fact that it could be their last home game here in Foxborough after an extended run. Both players acknowledged that it could be, it crossed their mind. I know you guys want to make the playoffs, and that's in the near future, but was there a talk amongst the group, hey, let's go out and get one for Slate and McCourty to let them end on a high note?
Honestly, Slate and McCourty is the one that do the talking before the game. And they didn't mention that. They mentioned going out there and having a complete team win, which it was. I think those guys, and over their career, they so unselfish and they so team oriented that they don't talk about themselves. They don't focus on the me. It's all about the we and how can we win, how can we execute. And I think hindsight after the game, they kind of think about that stuff. And, they spend a little extra time on the field, but before the game, they don't really talk about that stuff. They don't talk about the me. They talk about the Patriots and the team.
Bob
Matthew, when Bill talked about Devin, one of the things he essentially said, to try to paraphrase, is that a lot of times the great things he does maybe go unnoticed. We don't know them on the outside. When you play with somebody like him, what have you learned that you didn't know? You probably respected him as a Raven going against him, but what did you learn about him, playing with him, and his importance in that sense of being a guy that, with his consistency, with his knowledge, his leadership, has done a lot of things that we'll never understand we've never seen the box score and so forth?
I believe just with all the bullets flying and with all the emotions out there and everything hectic, Dev is very stoic. He always calm. He always communicates. He always get us in the right call. I don't know how long he been wearing a green dot, but since I've been here, he been wearing a green dot. He's been a play caller, and that's how you know a person is a staple to offensive defense, right? And so Dev has been a staple. Even though he dropped that pick today, I think the consistency over years and over a time frame has been kind of unbelievable. And that's why, I think, he's a first ballot, but he definitely will go down in Patriots history for everything that he did for this defense and this team. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Question. Can I bring this in here? I can't talk. All right.
Start with Dan Roach in the back.
Mac, just a thought on what you guys were able to do as a team, but also, was that maybe your best drive of the season when you guys put together there to take the 23-14 lead as an offense?
Yeah, I think it was a great day here, just fighting through a lot of different things on offense. I didn't play very well in the middle of the game, but sorry, bear with me, my voice is kind of going, but I didn't play as good as I want to in the middle of the game, and I thought our guys just kept fighting, and we made some big plays and some big moments, and that's what the NFL is all about. So obviously defense did a great job putting us in a good spot, and special teams, and obviously, at the end of the game there, special teams came up huge with Hunter getting that onside kick. So takes everybody. We work on all those things, and really proud of the guys for all the effort today.
Mac, I wanted to ask you about the third down throw to Jacoby with him starting in the backfield. Just, when did that get in the playbook, and what did you see on the play?
Yeah, I think it was a really good play call. Just kind of give him a little bit of a different presentation and kind of run one of our core plays. So it was cool to be able to do that, and he had a great route, and obviously had plenty of time to throw it and go through my reads. So that was a big conversion. We had a few, big conversions, but a lot of things I'm sure we can clean up, and just going to watch the film and see what we can do better. But had to get the win, and we found a way to do it. So that's what the NFL is all about.
Alan Siegel on the left.
Mac, it takes a lot to be a successful receiver in this league. Tyquan Thornton, obviously a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him from the beginning of the season to now, and the plays he made today, in terms of his ability to now run routes and be where you need him to be in terms of those routes?
Yeah, I think he's a really good route runner, really fast, smart kid, works hard, doesn't complain about anything, just goes out there and does what he's supposed to do. And we have a lot of guys like that on our team, and I'm just really excited to grow with him. He's a young player, I'm a young player, and we're working every day to get that chemistry. So he's done a great job. Definitely, we're going to watch the film together, and I always like to tell him things to work on. And same thing with him. He is very comfortable about telling me, hey, put it here, put it there. Let's try this, let's try that. So as a young player, definitely impressed with him and his ability to communicate at a really high level, during the games by telling me what he sees too. So love our receivers and all those guys. They fight hard for each other, fight hard for the team, and that's what it's all about.
Mac, would you mind just kind of giving us a little bit of your view on the go-ahead touchdown? Because obviously we saw Jacoby move out, let you know he was open. Just talk us through it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we shifted and stuff, and puts a lot of stress on the defense, and been working on that play for quite some time here, and finally got to do it in the game. So just a heads-up play, and sometimes with the shifts and motions, that's what happens on defense. It's just hard to communicate and all that, but definitely made a great catch. Those are sometimes the hardest, because you see a guy running out looking at you, you don't want to put it on the line so that he can intercept it. So definitely made a great play, and yeah, it was a good situational play.
Mac, how grateful and impressed have you been with the team's defense and just the fact they've been able to, help you guys along this season and keep you in a lot of games?
Yeah, I think, obviously when I first came here, I was really fired up because I knew that we had such a great defense even last year and this year and just throughout history. So all those guys play hard, really well coached. We have great scheme and just great players. So definitely want to be able to produce more on offense, and it starts with me as the quarterback. And I know we've been saying that a lot, but at the end of the day, we just got to keep trying to win games and play with each other and try and finish games strong and be able to score more points so that they don't have to do that part for us.
Mac, in the event that this was Slater and McCourty's last home game here at Gillette, what have you learned from them over your 2 years here, and what do they mean to you?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of great older players on our team. Those guys just come to work every day and set the standard of Patriot football. And, I think we have a great group. And obviously that's something that, they're not focused on and we're not focused on. We're just trying to have a great week here and enjoy this one and get ready to play a really good team. And that's what they want. They just want to have their best week and for us to have our best week. So love those guys and excited to have a good week here.
Chris Ryan on the left.
Mac, what did the touchdown drive to put the team up 23-14 mean to you personally, in that you executed the drive, you put the team over the top to a point where they were going to win, and obviously that's what every quarterback wants to do in that situation?
Yeah, I think we definitely made that an emphasis this week in practice and kind of got back to working on that stuff and making sure that we're sharp on everything. So definitely showed up in the game and we felt prepared, and like always, and it comes down to the execution of the plays, and we're going to have to do that again here. You never know when, and probably the next game. It's going to be, you never know when that opportunity comes, and you got to be ready and have a plan, and then obviously go out there and execute it.
Mike Reese in the front.
Just sort of two different topics here, but Hunter, obviously, with the onside kick
Yeah.
recovery, that's a huge play. That
Yeah.
What is it about Hunter in that clutch situation? You've been with him all year that
Yeah.
makes him the guy. And then if you could, on the drive before the kneel downs, the fourth down play, just take us back to that, just to piece together what happened there.
Yeah, I think Hunter is just a great all-around savvy football player. He has a great understanding of not only the tight end position, but, for example, that right there, just staying calm and fielding the ball. It's not the easiest thing to do when the game's on the line. So that's just who Hunter is. He's just a laid-back, easygoing guy. So love Hunter and excited to grow with him throughout the years and all that. So he did a great job. And obviously on that fourth down play, it's just taking care of the ball. We had a play that we were trying to execute, and the biggest thing is just not give it back to the other team for an easy, whatever, touchdown or whatever it may have been. So definitely going to learn from that one and see what I could do better and ask more questions and all that stuff just to make sure, we have a good plan there. So good learning experience for sure.
Last question, Mike on the left.
Hey, Mac. Tyquan Thornton was your guys' leading receiver today, 3 catches, recovered from last week's drop and everything. How have you guys, gotten together, and how has that chemistry built up, over the last few weeks since he's came back from injury?
Yeah, I think Tyquan, like I said, is smart, tough, fast football player, and comes to work every day, just puts his head down and works, and like I said, doesn't complain about anything, just goes to work, and obviously we want to have even more production, so we're going to do everything we can to, make him, get him the ball more and make sure I can let him touch it on some of those deep balls and let him run under it. And some of that's just timing and things that, we need to get throughout the week to make sure that we're on the same page. So definitely impressed with the, receivers and offensive line and backs today. I think everyone did a really good job. So just got to flip the page and get ready for a really good team next week. So thanks. Happy New Year. See ya.